Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It is a Wednesday, September 18th. TikTok, we're down to less than 2 weeks worth of games left in this Major League season. Now it's like, you know, if you're on TikTok, right? This is the time of the year where everyone starts posting the postseason nostalgia, all the can't wait for these moments and the loudest crowd reaction videos. Got me fired up this morning. So I was going over the rundown, watching some of the, at least from like our era. We got some last postseason, like that game tying Corey Seager home run in Texas was a big one. Obviously, Jose Bautista. Like there's been some loud crowd reactions in our time. And my first thought this morning was, I think it's time because Joe Carter is the only walk-off home run to clinch a World Series title, correct? That's the only one in history.
Like
I feel like it's time to do that again. Yes. I feel like it's time to have number 2. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know what team it's going to be for. But I feel like we've got to have number 2.
It would be great. I'm ready to see an absolute just dominant pitching performance from a starting pitcher.
Who's it going to be?
What I'm ready.
Who's it going to be?
What's
Dallas?
that? Who should it be?
Who's it going to be?
Who's it going to be? I mean, well, I don't know what the slate looks like, but it could be the Cy Young Award winner, maybe pitching to get his team into the postseason. I don't even know if it's about happening in the postseason. I would love to see that kind of performance. They're going to need Chris Sale to step up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different team.
What do you mean?
I thought you were talking about the Tigres, because I was going to say, I mean, like the last time that happened, it was the same team. Remember in 2014, it was like came down to the wire, and it was like David Price and those guys were basically pitching postseason games in the regular season to get the Tigers in.
To get them there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the pitching performance is something that I'm looking forward to more so than that big homer. When's the last time we had like a extremely dominant performance in the postseason, like Roy Halladay, the no-hitter?
No, come on.
Well,
A no-hitter?
Didn't Mad Bum happen after that?
Yes, 14.
Yeah, Mad Bum happened after that.
His run.
Nathan Eovaldi in the World Series in 18. No one wants to talk about that.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that Max Muncy homer in 18 innings. But honestly, it felt like people, like when the home run was hit, people were like, all right, fuck, finally we can go. Like not even worried about the win.
Yeah, I mean, they're Dodger fans.
I'll be right back.
Dallas has shit.
While Dallas is doing whatever he's doing, just a bit of cleanup.
Sure.
I don't. Did you say only walk-off home run in World Series history or most recent?
I said the only home run to clinch a World Series title.
Mazeroski is
Bill
the
Mazeroski. Was that the Pirates?
Yeah, 1960.
Okay.
So those are the only. There have been 11 walk-off hits to win the World Series, to clinch a World Series victory. Hits.
Yeah.
2 homers.
Okay.
Joe Carter and Mazeroski.
There you go. I don't know why I thought that was to get to the World Series.
That's all right.
I wasn't alive, Pirates fans. I'm sorry. You know, that's on me. But yeah, I want to see some big moments. Like I don't want to see a la-di-da postseason. As a neutral fan, I'm going into this as a neutral fan. Dallas is going into this as a neutral fan. He wants to see a dominant pitching performance. I want to see that Jose Bautista moment. I want to see the big home run at home where people are going fucking bonkers.
I want to see one of these players who we've been talking about with the power speed combo. I would love to see some of the things that have changed the game and made the game exciting during the regular season. I would love to see that spill over into the postseason. Like our team's going to stop running the way they have. Bobby Witt Jr. in the postseason, do we get to, I mean, is it green light? Or are we going to try to reel him in a little? Like, you know, I want to see that kind of shit. That's what
I think we're already starting to see that a little bit. Like Duran has like 2 stolen bases since like the start of August. It's like some of these guys are like, yeah, the way that we play the game so hard and so fast, it's kind of catching up to it, especially the guys that play every day, like Duran and Witt.
What do you mean? What do you mean there? It's changing. I mean, do you think that it would be changing for one guy for one reason and maybe changing for another guy for a different reason? Like, hey, I don't know how much more of this we need to put you through right now, because ultimately, I don't know how much it's going to have an impact on where we're trying to go. But for you, feel free, keep playing the game the way you are, because you're helping us get us to where we want to be.
Maybe.
Like, are they protecting one player?
Could be. But either way, I think the first name that comes to mind, when I say, I'll throw it to you guys, we'll see if we have the same person. If there's going to be a deafening ballpark, big moment home run that happens this postseason, who's the first name that comes to mind?
Ohtani.
Good pick. Jayhay?
Judge was the first name that came to my mind.
Manny Machado was the first name that came to mind for me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
I mean, I can separate it. Yes, he ended one of my favorite players of all time's career. But I just think the season that they're having, the role that Manny has played in it, the ballpark environment, it lines up. So we'll see. I mean, no one's wrong here. Jake, who's the first name that comes to mind for you?
Let's go Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. Yeah, I mean, like any one of those two guys at Yankee Stadium, the place is going to come absolutely unglued.
It feels like Juan Soto's moments are going to have a little more attached to them, though, than these other guys because of the unknown. Because the unknown of the future. So every time Juan Soto does something, it's almost like watching your fantasy team excel. The problem is your players on your fantasy team are kicking the shit out of your favorite team in real life. And you're like, well, this is really good, but damn it. Oh, didn't need that. And so you're just watching him play himself out of your favorite team's roster. Like, I don't know. There could be some of that attached.
So here's what we're going to do. Because Dallas is getting on a bird coming to the East Coast. We're going to be doing these streams. Jake was just here yesterday with Dean from Underdog, setting up some cameras. We're going to have more cameras in the streaming room than we've ever had, because usually we just have like a fixated one camera shot on the group. We're going to have multiple angles. We're going to have the Nug cam for Jayhay. There's going to be the Gong cam for whenever someone hits a home run. So that's going to be exciting. What I can promise you is I think for each game, we all have to make one higher pick on 0.5 home runs. We have to pick someone to hit a home run.
I mean,
we'll have a multitude of picks going for the wild card round, but you have to pick at least one person to homer.
Within each game.
Yeah,
I love that. That's a great element to it.
Yeah, them's the rules. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. It's the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats, strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. We're going to be having a ton of fun doing these live streams for the playoff games. Joey confirmed as of yesterday will be in attendance. Yep.
Yeah, that's ultimately up to him, but the path is laid. Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be the ultimate BID Section 10 crossover. I think that's the first time we'll have everyone, because Coley didn't make it to Texas.
Right.
Yep. So that'll be the first time we have full attendance for that.
That's a lot of egos in one room.
Oh, yeah. What is it? 9, Jake, or 8? 8, 9?
I think we counted 8 yesterday.
Okay. So I think I was talking about it yesterday. I'm trying to, so I got this, like the sectional that's in there. I'm trying to ditch that and get more movie theater seats. I think because like the sectional, it's wide seating, which I'm sure some people appreciate, like Tyler, for example. But I think I want to, what? I'm just saying he's bigger person. I want to ditch the sectional and do 6 movie theater seats in the front row. That's what I want to do. So I'm trying to get someone in my life to take this couch. Wouldn't hate, I paid like $3,500 for it. I wouldn't hate like, oh, I'll give you $1,000 for it. Like, I'll take that maybe. Trying to get rid of that and get the movie theater seats here by the stream. No promises. No
you
promises.
need to put that thing online. You need to put that couch online.
That's a pretty cool
so?
opportunity for a listener to have the Rockets, the Rockets sectional.
Yeah. I mean, nothing bad is, no, one time. I was going to say nothing bad has ever happened on that couch. One time. It was just one time.
I mean, one time I think makes it, again, more valuable.
Yeah.
As an asset. Because
yeah, you can figure out what part of the sectional that happened on.
Right. Maybe get it autographed.
Yeah, I'll sign it. No doubt. Yeah, if someone wants my sectional.
Just more DNA on the couch. Sweet.
Yeah. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Yeah, so I think that's what I want to do. I want to add so that room is going to continue to evolve into more of a content factory. More cameras, more seating, more lighting in there. We're going to put cool lighting in there. The guy that does the framing for Phil Castanetti, Dallas, all the frame pieces that you see in there, I went to him. I gave him all the first pitch baseballs and pictures from the first pitches. He's going to try and frame all that into a shadow box to have as part of the set for the stream, which will be cool. And then we're going to be building like a big studio set there for whenever everyone's in town, everyone's in the same place at the same time. This is more of a solo operation that I'm in right now, but then out there will be more of a group setting. So that'll be cool. Especially, when you guys are in town for the playoffs and it's like, all right, well, we just watched all the games. We can just walk 2 feet over here and bang out a pod with a bunch of cameras and a bunch of all that other shit. We could probably still do that. I mean, there's a lot of shit in that room. It's very busy right now, Jake. A lot of shit in that room. But either way, I digress. I feel like today there's a lot of, there's no like major story, but there's a lot of like, we got to talk about this stories on this Wednesday. The first one to me is the Francisco Lindor injury, because as we start the show, we're looking over, all these teams, like who we most excited for. Like we can basically pencil in all these teams. Like the Yankees, that they're in. Like that's in Sharpie. The Padres, the Dodgers, like all these, they're in. As far as races go, I mean, I feel like there's, I guess you could say the American League wild card. Like, the Tigers are a game and a half out. They're fighting for their playoff lives right now. They've won 3 straight games. They're a game and a half back of the Twins. But in the National League here, the New York Mets are tied with the D-backs entering play on Wednesday. Then you have the Braves, who are 2 games out. The Braves have lost 3 fucking straight. Like the Braves might not make it, Dallas. They might not get in after all this.
It's still too early for I told you so, but this was the guess. This was my thought that the New York Mets were going to do enough to slap the Atlanta Braves and put them back down just one slot further, right out of the postseason.
Man, that wouldn't feel right if a Braves-less postseason. Like, what is that? I don't know if I like that. But again, I said I hope the Mets get in. I didn't say I wish they get in over another team. I just want the Mets there, and right now they're in. The Mets are in.
And they got a little juice behind them right now. You see what the Mets have done?
Yeah, the Grimace seat.
The Grimace seat?
Yeah.
That's going to be a highly sought after piece.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be like no one's going to sit. They're going to put like candles around it and shit. Mets fans, I mean, I don't want to say that they're weird because they're not weird, but they are different in the sense where, like, I feel like the Yankees would never do something like this. The Yankees would never do something like this. Fans would hate it. The team would never acknowledge it. But you just go across town to Queens and they're worshiping Grimace and they have a purple seat for Grimace. Like, there's going to be like a candlelight ceremony around the purple seat before each playoff game. There's going to be like a seance, like a Grimace seance.
I think there's going to be, I think whoever sits in that seat during the game, though, starts to take on like a personality. They start to become a character, not Grimace.
Well, I think Grimace has to sit there.
I mean, that'd be nice if Grimace would show up. I think that would really go a long way for the people.
Yeah.
But I think the person who sits there just inherently becomes the human form of what Grimace has meant to this team.
The personification of Grimace.
You got to lead the charge. You got to help lead this charge right now. Like, you don't put your ass in the seat of Grimace and not come correct Grimace style. Like, you got to live up to that.
I truly think that Grimace has to sit there. Like, especially, for the first postseason, saying the Mets are going to get there. Like, if the purple seat is there, which it is, it's already put in, it's not an idea, it's reality, then because then that's when it becomes legendary. Like, hey, remember when we put the purple seat in and Grimace was there for all the home playoff games? Yeah, then you kind of move on. It's like, yeah, I'm sitting in the Grimace seat, but like Grimace has to sit in the Grimace seat.
Well, look, I don't care if it's your Uncle Larry wearing a Grimace suit. Just get somebody in a Grimace suit in the Grimace seat. Just make that happen, okay?
Yeah.
Do that, and I promise you, that very well could end up being the storyline of
the whole postseason. Yeah. Like Grimace in a World Series parade.
Yeah. Could you imagine just a picture of Grimace with his hand up? You got grimaced, and it's over.
Like all those ballparks. I know Fenway's not one of them because we don't need that, but all the ballparks that on the video board is like, make some noise, like all that. No. You don't have to do that. You just put Grimace on the video board and the entire Citi Field will go nuts. Nuts.
And people just lose it because it's Grimace. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. I do, side note, I think we're going to see teams in some way, somehow start to do this separately. Like, they're not going to conjure up their own Grimace per se, but the minute that the fan base gives them something to latch onto, boom, we make it a thing. We make it an attraction. We separate it here at the ballpark, and it's another thing we can sell and market.
Yeah.
How tired does that get?
Very tired, Jayhay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Very tired.
Okay. Because you could argue the Grimace thing is cute as like a one-off thing. I think if 15 teams are running concurrent Grimace-like marketing ploys, I think that gets very tired very quickly.
You saying if the Tigers start to go with the Hamburglar as someone to help them steal a spot into the postseason, that's a bad move? That's a bad move,
That might be funny. That might be funny right now because it would be kind of so tongue-in-cheek that you would have to tip your cap. But yeah, maybe a dozen more of those attempts, and I think they run out. Not every team can be organically funny and entertaining, I don't think.
No. Imagine the Yankees doing Golden Thong Night in 2006 or whatever that was.
I don't remember that one.
You don't?
Golden Thong?
Yes.
No, I don't. I don't remember that.
Jayhay. All right, let me do some research for you.
Yeah, I said
06.
Yankees.
You said?
I'm gonna pull up some research.
That was college. I was probably wearing my own golden thong.
Hell. Golden Nuggets.
Here we are. New York Yankees icon confesses to the legend of the Golden Thong. Lot of pop-ups on this fucking website. What is this?
Yeah, don't act like you don't act like you haven't been there, pal.
Wednesday on The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, Pinstripes icon Derek Jeter confessed to a legend that has been looking for confirmation for a few years now. During a segment on Fallon's show called True Confessions, the talk show host prompted number 2 to confess, quote, "I once wore a thong in public in front of thousands of people." Jeter, after saying, "I'm going to regret playing this game," explained the unusual underwear choice to Fallon and fellow guest singer Rita Ora. I don't know who that is. Jeter said that in 2002, a teammate that had a gold thong hanging in his locker, and the teammate told Jeter that anytime you struggle, you wear it and you get a hit. The captain said he thought the guy was crazy. Things change when you are in a 0 for 32 slump at the plate. In 2004, I went through the worst offensive stretch of my career, Jeter explained. Every day I'd walk in and he'd point at the thong. So finally I caved and I wore the thong. Now it wasn't thong to skin. I wore shorts under it. Did the gold thong work? First pitch, home run, explained Jeter. But who is the mystery teammate with the slump-busting gold thong? According to the New York Post, former Yankee teammate Jason Giambi confessed to ownership of the undergarment to NJ.com in 2015. Quote, "The golden thong is legendary. It's never not gotten a hit," Giambi explained. It was Derek Jeter's first slump I don't think the guy's ever slumped in his career. He's unbelievable. You know, the gold thong, he had to get out of it. According to Jeter himself, the thong worked, and the legend of the golden thong will live in Yankees lore forever.
There it is. So you know what else we have to bring to the postseason streams? And maybe I'll do it.
Okay,
maybe I'll show up wearing a gold thong.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
I think-
Notice how, the thong, you heard where it came from Giambi.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't green. It was gold. So that's just life being injected into another stale place. Compliments of the Oakland A's.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't from Miss Trixie at the fucking Boom Boom Room down the street in Manhattan. I'm sure it definitely came from Oakland.
100%.
Okay.
You think that was the first time that thong got broke out, pal?
No, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Jake, book Jason Giambi. We got to get the other side of the story here because Dallas is going to try and claim this is an Oakland A's thing. Yeah, all that to say, I don't think the New York Yankees are doing Golden Thong night in the Bronx.
No. So fans, what would you promote for your team? What would be your just most egregious, crazy, ridiculous, let's make this our thing?
The Royals had that mantis, right?
Yes, Royals had the mantis. Who had the fucking summer sausage? Was that the Brewers?
No,
the Twins. Was it the Twins?
The Twins. Yeah. It was the Twins.
Twins that hit.
Is the rally monkey really the only cool version of this ever?
We had a midget in 2004. His name was Nelson, and Pedro carried him around as
Is that what you call them?
It's not, Jayhay.
You're not allowed to say that anymore?
I don't know. I doubt it.
It just feels like there's a different way to go about that.
A small person?
Or a little person?
I mean, that's way more insulting.
Hey, I'm not, buddy.
A dwarf? There's no like politically correct name that's like, oh yeah, no, I'd rather be called that if that's.
I do wonder what the answer to that is because I don't know actually.
I think I remember having this conversation with Zod. He's like, no, it's cool. You can.
Well, I mean, Zaw is definitely an outlier in terms of how you can communicate with somebody. Like Zaw's cool. Zaw's not tripping, so it's all good.
Well, what do you say? I don't know. What the fuck?
I believe it's little people.
We had a little person. Like if that were me, I wouldn't want to. Hey, you're a little person. Like no, I'm just a person.
Well, that's not how you identified them out of the gate. So there's a difference.
We had this guy named Nelson, and he was not very tall. And he followed the team around in 2004, and he was basically our team mascot.
So I don't want to belabor the point here, but I did go down a bit of a Reddit hole very quickly, and it appears, at least relative to each other, that dwarf is preferred relative to midget because dwarf at least refers to dwarfism, which is like a thing.
It's a thing.
Whereas I don't think midget has that sort of etymology.
Got it.
So that's what we're going to go with
Where are you going, Dallas?
for now.
Where are you going? Where'd Dallas go?
I don't know what's happening in Dallas.
I don't know.
I'm here.
What's up, dude? What happened, bro?
Nothing. We're good.
What's up?
Nothing.
Dallas is like the kid in the class that like he's passing notes with his friend, and like the teacher's got to be like, "Oh, you want to share it with the rest of the class?"
And I can't. And I can't share. I'm
Is this Golden Thong related?
No, it's not Golden Thong related.
All right.
I can appreciate when we get to points like this.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, Red Sox now having dwarf night, as far as I know.
Because I've told you guys a story about the greatest minor league promotion that I've ever experienced.
Refresh my memory.
It was Little People Wrestling in
I thought we weren't calling them that. What the fuck? Where's the line?
Well, so what is it? Is it dwarf wrestling?
Yes.
I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, there were extremely small athletes that were wrestling
extremely small athletes
in a ring on home plate in between a doubleheader. And I said to myself, I don't ever want to get out of AA. Like, if this is what's going on here, like they just put beer on sale yesterday on Thirsty Thursday in the 7th inning. They didn't stop selling it. They put it on sale. Today we've got small athlete wrestling at home plate. Like, this is incredible. Professional baseball rocks.
Just to follow up again, kind of a follow up to the follow up. As we dig deeper here, I have an excerpt I'd like to read. The terms person of short stature, little person, and dwarf are commonly used in the United States to refer to a person with a medical condition called dwarfism, although preferred terms vary by person and community. According to the Little People of America website, many people who experience dwarfism prefer the term little person. They do note that unless physical stature is of relevance in a conversation, simply using a person's name is appropriate. So, context important there. But yeah, that's the best I can do on short notice.
Got it.
Whoa. Hey, I see what you did there.
Whoa.
Dick unnecessary. Jeez, Jays. Wow. Well, have some couth, you asshole.
Wow. That was pointed.
I'm all couth, baby.
That was purposeful.
I thought you were bigger than that.
No, I'm full of couth.
Oh. Yeah, that's... Anyways, so the Mets, huh? The Mets.
The Mets.
Yeah. This Francisco Lindor injury seems to be very mysterious. MRI says no structural damage. Said it's going to be at least a few days. No one seems to know when. Was out of the lineup Monday, Tuesday. We're now at Wednesday. The Mets held a team meeting in which multiple individuals spoke. The manager, the president of baseball operations, and the captain. Pedro Alonso spoke up. He spoke in this meeting. And it's reported that the central message was like, not necessarily like, hey, this is my last hurrah, but not that really. Like, this could be my last homestand as a Met. Like, let's do this type of rah-rah speech. I think it kind of speaks to the importance of Francisco Lindor, that a guy like that could go down and the rest of the team is sitting around thinking like, man, we are fucked. And you need someone to speak up and be like, we're not fucked. It's just one guy, like, let's fight. And then hopefully he gets back and we're in a good spot when he gets back. But the truth is, I don't know that anyone in that room knows if and when Lindor is coming back.
Well, and that's the air of the unknown, the anxiety, the anxiousness that comes with that, because you don't know how you're going to plug these holes or this hole. You've had a guy who has been everything, the igniter, the catalyst, the spark plug, however you want to phrase it. The offense has ran through Francisco Lindor. And when that guy is now no longer a part of the equation, I think you can understand at this time of the season with where they're at, why the panic sets in, because you're quite literally counting the days, the time on the clock, right? Until your season either extends or comes to an end. And every reason that it's been going this way, or a large part of the reason why things have been trending in the way that they have, is now in question. And so what you don't want to do is go from a team who feels like they're on a roll, things are going well, to now one guy goes down and it feels like you've lost your identity. Like that is a problem. And that is a psyche issue that I think Pete Alonso understands. I don't want to have our team dealing with right now. I want to do whatever I can to try to quell any sort of anxiety that's building in the room right now. Because what you're getting from the pitching staff is everything that tells you we're going to be okay. Or you should be able to buy into at this very moment in time right now. So then where do you look? How are we going to beat the other team? We got to score runs. Who's been helping us do that? That guy's not here. Who's going to step up in the absence of? That's how quickly that small snowball, that Lindor snowball, starts to build and starts to gain steam downhill. And I think that's what Pete Alonso is trying to do, is get out in front of that. And a la Sisyphus, he's not pushing that snowball uphill, but he's trying to prevent that thing from rolling down and getting any bigger.
I'm reading through Kevin's tweets right now. Because I know he said somewhere, like it's just like it's a roller coaster of emotions following the Mets through the eyes of Kevin Clancy. But yeah, I mean, they are surely in a place now where the loss of Jose Iglesias, Francisco Lindor, is jarring. Like that, you're on this magical run where you were 7 games back of the D-backs 3 weeks ago, and now you're tied with them. The D-backs, I don't want to say that they looked unstoppable, but they were playing MLB best type baseball for a solid while there. And for the Mets to have caught them, and not only caught them, but have a playoff spot, it must be a crazy emotional feeling to be like, we're in, but we don't have the guy that got us here. Like, what the fuck? It's like you should be excited, but it's almost like you can't be fully excited. I don't know. No.
But that's where, Jared, that's where Pete Alonso stepping up is coming into play here.
Yeah.
Is because it's almost like, it's almost like good cop, bad cop, so to speak, how teammates operate. You're going to have guys who lead by example. You're going to have guys who they might be 0 for their last 36, but their voice carries weight regardless of what on-field production looks like. So they are able to hold the rope in a different way. They're able to motivate the room in a different way. Well, now that guy's, like I said, that guy's gone. And so what has Pete Alonso done over the last 2 weeks outside of maybe be their most productive player?
Right.
He's trying to say, we don't have to worry about that as much. I mean, we've already talked about what this means and why they've done it, but this is just some insight as to why you have to do something like that right now, because you can't afford, and I think Pete Alonso knows this, you can't afford to have this cloud of melancholy over the clubhouse right now, where there's not really a feeling one way or the other. It's just sort of, you've been frozen in time. Like, oh, we got to see if Lindor's okay. We'll lose the next 2 or 3 waiting to figure that out. Fuck, we can't do that. And I don't know how much of an impact this could have, but I was giving Joey shit about an Acuna being in the East, helping a team get to the postseason. I don't know how much of an impact this guy can have in the next 10 days or so, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something that can spark them. I have
Their
no idea.
Their swings look identical.
Well, of course.
I mean, do Brett Boone and Aaron Boone's swings look identical, Dallas?
No, not at all.
No.
But these are those were 2 very different players.
Okay.
The Boones.
Well, these guys are very similar players. I'm excited for the Mets.
If the Mets, if we can put Grimace in the serious conversation of things that are getting Mets fans excited and things that, then I think that Luis Angel Acuna is somebody that could spark them a bit here down the stretch. Don't know how much, but just maybe.
The reason why I said Jose Iglesias instead of Francisco Lindor is because I was reading Kevin's quote tweet of my tweet, which was, going to use this as a topic for Baseball is Dead on Wednesday. Which player are you happiest to see their personal success this season? Don't give me an annual superstar. And Kevin said, the correct answer is Jose Iglesias. This is not an opinion. It's a fact. I disagree. I don't think it's Jose Iglesias, but I'm curious to see what you guys thought of for answers to this question. Which player are you happiest to see their personal success this season? Not an annual superstar.
For the Mets?
No, for anybody.
Like I've got guys.
Not on the A's.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's going to be a homer.
You're too close to it.
Mitch Keller.
Okay.
Probably Mitch Keller. You get the deal. Can you perform? You lock it in. He's our guy. How do you answer that? It was good to see Mitch maybe respond.
But he's not the guy.
No, he's the guy that got paid in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not the guy. I don't think anybody's arguing that.
Mm-mm. No, he's not the guy, in my opinion. Justin Havens?
So I'm assuming Lindor is an annual superstar, right?
It depends on who you ask. I mean, there's some Mets fans that before this year would have told you no.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is, I would be stretching with any other answer. So if we want to write that off and move on to somebody else, that's fine. But that's my answer for sure. I've never really had animosity towards Cleveland players who leave or are, in his case, traded because he was going to get a deal that Cleveland didn't want to match and they got ahead of that. But I have been rooting for him unabashedly since he left. And I think the perception or treatment of him prior to this season and even in the first half of this season has been not like awful, but just a little unfair for a player of his caliber and production and track record and, the leadership stuff and all that sort of garbage that I've made my opinion known on that kind of stuff in previous conversations. But I've really been happy that if I have to admit that I was wrong on the Mets this year, it's in conjunction with the fact that Lindor, I think, is finally getting his flowers nationally in the way that I think he's deserved to for a long time, whether that ends in the MVP or whether it ends finishing second in the MVP. It's been heartening to see.
Well, let's talk about that MVP.
If you're talking about the Mets, can I change my pick? I would probably select Sean Manaea in that case.
Well, I wasn't talking specifically about the Mets. That's just who my pick is because he just happens to play for them. Just to be clear,
he's a 4-time All-Star.
Well, I said I qualified the answer with I don't know if this is going to count, but that's definitely the person I feel most passionately about in terms of their 2024 success and my emotional attachment to it.
You can pick Sean Manaea if you'd like. But the MVP discussion in the National League, with less than 2 weeks remaining, does that really, how much does that impact Lindor's case if Ohtani goes the rest of the way and gets the 50-50 while Lindor didn't play the last 2 weeks?
It's everything.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it that way. It's absolutely
it comes
everything.
down to the last 2 weeks.
Because it was the last 2 weeks, the position he plays and what he's doing and where the team could be going, that has powered the conversation behind Francisco Lindor. So inherently, when that goes away, so does the argument for everything that has been bolstering it. It's that simple. Because I was in the camp. If Francisco Lindor is playing the way he is and is playing the position he is, and his team gets to the postseason largely because of his contributions down the stretch, it's really hard to deny the value on either side, whether it's value of the player to his team or value of the player in totality. When comparing him against other players in the league, it's going to be really hard to just push that aside. But now that he's hurt, and if he does not show up and Ohtani gets to 50-50 just because of what the pursuit of that has been, and you look over here and go, all right, well, we have the Lindor season to, well, shit, he's still not here. Okay, yep, nope, pretty easy.
So can I play devil's advocate on that?
Yes.
Because it's not like I don't believe that the last 2 weeks are extremely important to the conversation, but to take the other side, something that Dallas had struck me. It's that, the what Lindor had done to drive the Mets forward kind of goes kaput if he's not there for the last 2 weeks, whatever, and then they move on without him or whatever. I would argue that the work that he's done leading up to this point to get the Mets somehow into, per Fangraphs, a position where they are 71% to make the postseason is in and of itself the argument for his MVP case, and not necessarily whether he gets to the finish line over the final 2 weeks. Now, if Ohtani goes on an epic tear and retakes all of the statistical arguments from Lindor, and Lindor isn't there over the final 2 weeks, then that's fine. Maybe that is a much cleaner thing. But if it right now wins above replacement, which is obviously not the end all, but is something that people have been hanging their hats on both sides of the aisle here. It's not like WAR is the Lindor argument all season. It's been Ohtani's going to be the first dude to be a DH and lead in wins above replacement and win the MVP. That's definitely something that's been talked about. But as of right now, Lindor has the lead on that. So if we get to the end of the season 2 weeks from now and Ohtani doesn't really do a whole lot between now and then, and Lindor misses the time, I still think it's an open case because Lindor's most important work was the work to get the Mets from borderline out of the picture to in a position of power as it relates to the NL wildcard.
I can appreciate everything you just said and I understand it. I think my perspective is I'm not here to acknowledge the guy who did a whole lot to get us close. But
what if they make the postseason?
Different story. And where's Lindor in that picture, though? Because you can have guys who impact your team and set you on a great trajectory early in the season, and then they falter, they stumble, their production wanes, your team comes up short, and then you can say, well, our team came up short, but you could also go back and say, yeah, well, if you had this guy performing the way he was all the way through the finish line, is it fair to ask that there could have been a different result there? And to the war conversation, the reason it's so exciting, or the reason that it is what it is because Ohtani at no point is going to have a defensive effort to bolster his argument. And every day, Francisco Lindor has that opportunity to make a play and ratchet up the war without ever grabbing a baseball bat. And Ohtani's trying to do it on the other side. And so that's where I can appreciate that conversation. And the reason I go to bat for Ohtani, literally and figuratively, is because of how poo-pooed his performance on the mound was during his MVP candidacy when he was doing both.
But that's got really nothing to do with what we're talking about as it relates to the 24 MVP award and what Lindor is doing on the field. Like, I'm not even pro Lindor in the argument, but like, so hold on, let me go back to something else you said. I said, what if they make the postseason? And you said, well, that's a whole different conversation or argument or whatever. Is it better in your mind for Lindor's MVP candidacy if they go on to make the postseason without him over the last 2 weeks, quote unquote, or if they go on to miss the postseason because he wasn't there? Like it almost feels like you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just clarifying, if he misses the next 2 weeks, he's almost ineligible to win the award in your mind to some extent. Is that unfair, or is that what you're saying?
That is close to what I'm saying. Yes, okay. because there's room to say if he comes back and performs equally as well, and that performance clearly impacts where they're at, whether it keeps them right where they're at, they're able to create a little more separation over the 10 days, it would easily, and I don't think anybody would argue that it would be tied back to Lindor's presence. If the Mets falter over the next 10 days, you mean to tell me that Mets fans aren't at all going to bring up the fact that Lindor wasn't a part of it? They're going to say, well, if Lindor wasn't hurt, if we had Lindor down the stretch, this shit would look different. And that right there would bolster their MVP case for him as well, because they would say he would have won the MVP too. If he was healthy down the stretch, we'd be in the postseason. He'd be the MVP. We're not having this conversation. And so my perspective is, if he's not healthy and they don't get to the postseason, how strong is that MVP conversation now? That's what I'm saying.
Jared, what do you got?
I think for me, it's just like a cumulative thing. Like, I understand when you're looking at the last couple of weeks, for me, that's more of like a tiebreaker thing that I go to. I feel like 2019 Bellinger versus Yelich, like Yelich missed the last month. So not the same thing here. But Yelich had been coming off an MVP in 2018. And in 2019, you can make the case that he was even better. But then he fouled a ball off his kneecap, cracked his kneecap, and that effectively cost him the MVP award to Cody Bellinger. But like, Yelich had a better season than Bellinger. Like Yelich had a better season than Bellinger in 2019. He just happened to get hurt in September and missed the last 3.5 weeks, whatever it was. So we've seen it before that this time can cost you an MVP. Like, yes, granted, the time missed for Yelich was a little bit more, but he made it to September and still had a better season than Bellinger.
And Jay, let me make this abundantly clear. For all of the passion and the love that I have for just baseball players, the athlete, the ball player, what Ohtani's doing, okay, doesn't have the full ball player feel to it. He's pounding homers and he's stealing bases, but he's doing nothing for you defensively. I would love to watch Francisco Lindor come back and over the next 10 days beat the shit out of the baseball and do what he's done all season defensively, get his team to the postseason, and that be the argument as to why he's the MVP. I would love to fucking see that. I would love to hear that. I would love to have that conversation because that's where the V gets defined, right? You can overlook the incredible numbers offensively that you're getting from Ohtani, but let's have the total value conversation of the player, combining his production and what that has specifically meant to his team. Because now we get into the conversation of if you take Ohtani away from the Dodgers, where are they at? And if you take Francisco Lindor away from the Mets, where are they at? Right? We had that conversation with Aaron Judge during his torrid season. Like this was a dude who was solely responsible for getting them to where they were. You remove him, it felt like they were a fucking sub 500 club.
So, I mean, September 16th would have been what, Monday? Yeah. So on Monday, Lindor said he could miss 3 to 5 days or 2 to 3. It depends on how his back reacts. So we're kind of in that window right now of how we feeling. You know, we back in there tonight. Like,
was this day 3, Jared?
This would be day 3. Yes. So he was out of the lineup Monday, Tuesday. So we're on day 3. We're right in that window of hopefully it feels better today. Hopefully we can get back in the lineup today. So I don't want to have like a premature conversation of Lindor missing the rest of the season because I don't think that that's what we're looking at quite yet. But what we are looking at is Shohei Ohtani now 48, and some interesting comments from Dave Roberts that we'll get to in just a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about BetterHelp. And what was really cool was I had at the Section 10 night at Fenway Park, I had a listener come up and tell me they found BetterHelp through us talking about BetterHelp on the podcast. Said he's been in therapy for 2 years now, found it to be quite beneficial. Went from a place of, you know, needing that unbiased person to talk to for venting, for coping, for learning, self-learning. I said, how long did it take you to find somebody? Not that long, not even a week to find somebody. How long? I asked just out of curiosity. I was like, male or female? I was like, I've had both. And like, are you getting something from it? Absolutely. You know, 2 years in therapy. I don't know. It's 14 years for me. The graveyard sessions roll on. That's when the kids are it's summer vacation, I drive down the street to the graveyard and I do my therapy in a graveyard. It's very totally normal, very, very normal thing for anybody to do. I do it on the phone. But that's the thing is like if it's virtual, you know, I can do it here. Sometimes I do it in the studio and but like sometimes I'll do it like via FaceTime, like while I'm chilling in the graveyard down the street. But that's why it's so convenient.
Well, in 14 years, I mean, that's appropriate for some people. It can also be something that works for people in a couple of sessions, maybe to just talk one thing out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's,
yes.
I think you can look at it a couple of different ways and doesn't necessarily have to be something you commit to long-term if you've got something that you need to work through.
Correct. And it doesn't always have to be that, you've got some huge problem. It's sure. Just, you know, if you've got like, you know, just the need to vent to someone that you know isn't going to judge you. BetterHelp is the place to go. If you're thinking of starting therapy, I would say give BetterHelp a shot. Just give them a shot. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. We know you're busy. I'm busy. That's the thing too. Like I've talked to people I know in my life that I'm like, you definitely need to be in therapy, and they'll use the busy schedule excuse. And I'm like, brother, you ain't busier than me, and I still make time for it. I know you're not busier than me, and I have not missed a session. I prioritize it. I make time for it. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/baseball today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/baseball. And I'm going to throw the tagline. This isn't even their tagline. The tagline is stop fucking making excuses. Okay? Stop saying that you're too busy or that it's not for you or that it's only for girls. Like, no. I'm a dude. I've been doing it for a decade and a half, and I'm very busy myself, and I make time for it. So this is your calling card. This is your signal. BetterHelp. Okay. So Dallas has to leave in 15 minutes. So before we lose Dallas.
Well, if Dallas has to leave in 15 minutes, then I have something very, very important I need to tell him.
Okay, tell him.
It's to sign up with the promo code Jared.
Yeah, you have to tell him that.
Yeah, it's to get $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. Promo calendar is loaded today. You want to get a part of that. It's loaded all week. CeeDee Lamb, Dallas's boy, free pick earlier this week. We got profit boosts coming later this week. Surprise bonuses coming. That's Underdog. Promo code Jared, Jared.
That's big time. It's big time promo code. Sign up. Get in there for the playoffs. Like, what are you doing? Playoffs are exciting. Make them more exciting with Underdog. Dallas, Shohei Ohtani is now at 48-48. And we've got some discrepancy in how this appears as far as Shohei Ohtani sees it and how Dave Roberts sees it. Shohei Ohtani was asked about the pursuit of reaching 50-50. You know what Shohei said, Dallas?
He don't care.
No pressure. Just trying to maintain quality at bats regardless of the situation. It's something I've been trying to do over the course of the entire season.
Yep.
You think Dave Roberts believes that?
No.
He doesn't. He says, lately, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said he noticed that the 50-50 milestone is, quote, front of mind for Ohtani, even if it isn't necessarily providing pressure. Roberts has observed Ohtani pulling pitches more frequently rather than spraying them into the gaps, which is triggering some predetermined swings as opposed to seeing pitches deeper into the strike zone, quote, and I do feel that's somewhat natural. I just think he wants to get it over with, but with the fact that he's still trying to compete and help us win baseball games.
Yep. That is a fair assessment, and that is probably the most accurate assessment that you're going to get on that. And is it understandable? Yes. I mean, you are 2 homers and 2 stolen bases away from a number that I don't know will ever be attained again, it feels like. I don't know if he's capable of doing this again. That's just what that feels like. So yeah, Dave Roberts, in the face of trying to win baseball games, is probably noticing some things that are changing just a bit with one of his biggest stars, if not his biggest star. So I think it's fair to understand that Ohtani's going to tell you that he's blocking it out, and Dave Roberts is telling you that, well, he can try to block it out all he wants, but it's really tough to ignore 50-50 and what comes along with that, especially if you're just 2 away on either side. So it's just part of the thing, man. It is what it is. The numbers tell you how close you are. You think he wants to do it? Yeah. Yep. So he's thinking about it. And the poolside comment, what do you try to do when you hit homers? Catch it out front. What does that mean? You got to pull the baseball.
Yeah, I think it would be weird if he said I wasn't thinking about it. Like, of course you're thinking about it. Who wouldn't be thinking about it? I don't think that there's a professional on planet Earth in any sport that if they were closing in on a milestone that no one has ever achieved before, and you're just right there, and you're going to say, yeah, I'm not really thinking about it. Like, yes, you are. Of course you are. And that's okay. Like, it's not, no one's going to be like, dude, focus on the game and winning instead of 50-50. Like, no, who's going to say that?
Well, but nobody. And Ohtani's the dude who, with 3 months left in the season, sitting at 49-49, would say the exact same thing. If I'm lucky to get there, it'll be great. You know, it's an achievement that I won't acknowledge until, you know, maybe after the season, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you're at 49-49 with 3 months left and you're not thinking about it, the possibility of it at all. I promise you that ratchets up when you got 10 days left and you're 2 away on either side. So, yeah, he's paying attention to it. You mean to tell me that the guy who drew up his entire baseball career is unaware that he's 2 stolen bases and 2 homers away from one of the most electric milestones the game's ever seen? That's weird.
I think this may be a weird take. If Ohtani got 50-50 in August, it would be not less impressive, but far less exciting. Like, I like the fact that it's coming down to the wire.
I know what you're saying, and people would just be like, okay, yeah, so Ohtani
like
did
when he did 40-40. When he
Yeah.
got 40-40, I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's like, but
I
can you
agree.
do 50-50?
Well, it's almost like shit like this. Like I'm sure you guys will end up talking about Bobby Witt Jr. becoming the first shortstop in history with 2
Double
30 seasons.
Yeah.
Right. And for him to do it in back-to-back years, like that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty solid. But that gets kind of overlooked. It's like, oh, the pursuit of 50-50 for Ohtani. Well, let's wait a minute here. Let's talk about the Bobby Witt Jr. 30-30 back-to-back seasons because it's never been done before. That's electric. But yeah, it's the
I'm
Ohtani
shocked
effect.
A-Rod never did that.
I know, twice. That is very shocking.
Yeah.
I was also shocked at Lark too.
Yeah, or Ripken. I guess Ripken didn't steal bags.
Barry only, his career high was 33, but his second highest total was 20 for homers.
Really? For homers.
Yeah. He stole 30 plus bags plenty of times, but
yeah, homers. Gap to gap, baby. Gap to gap. That baby Lark.
Former coworker.
It's also funny because he won his MVP in 95 when he hit 15 homers. And then he followed it up the next year and hit 33 homers and finished 12th in the MVP. Kind of funny. Still playing goal and still won the Gold Glove in both seasons. So good luck explaining that one.
I know you guys are going to talk about this. I just wanted to get in here real quickly. The Cy Young, Cy Young race.
Yeah.
Zach Wheeler. Has Zach Wheeler positioned himself into the conversation with Chris Sale as a potential Cy Young Award winner? As we sit right now, Zach Wheeler sporting a 5.4 B WAR. For Chris Sale, 6.3. For anybody who's in any sort of pitching award conversation, Chris Sale leads the pack in that. The one thing about Zach Wheeler and I think it's negligible, honestly, because it's going to end up being a start between the two. I mean, Zach Wheeler is going to have more innings, possibly, but outside of that, there's nothing that he brings to the table right now that's in comparison to Chris Sale.
No, so, it's kind of like when Blake Snell won the Cy Young Award with Tampa, and everyone was like, "Well, it's so dominant, it doesn't really matter that someone else has." What was the gap between Blake Snell and 18 and the innings? It was like 40 innings.
I was going to say it was like 30 is what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was enough to be like, well, buddy, that's fucking 5 starts. Like, are we sure we don't care about 5 starts?
Yeah.
I know people like to argue about the awards, and I like the Zach Wheeler thing feels like it's been bubbling up, and it did feel like it was a topic of conversation on Twitter last night and this morning, at least on my feed. I think this is mostly, I think he's got a decent argument. I think Chris Sale is the answer. And I'm not really trying to argue against that, but I think this is mostly a residue of frustration from people who are proponents of Zach Wheeler, that it's going to be another season where he doesn't win the Cy Young Award, yet has an argument as the very best pitcher in his league. In the game, whatever you want to do. We've talked about this a couple of months ago on the podcast, but like Zach Wheeler, whether it's by B WAR or F WAR, has been the best pitcher in baseball cumulatively for the 7-season run from 18 to 24. 7 seasons, he has been the most productive pitcher over that stretch, and he will have most likely zero Cy Young Awards to show for that. And really only this year and 21 where he finished truly in the running for the award, which at least by the voting, not by the stats. That I think is really what's going on here, is that like, oh, Zach Wheeler, another year where he's the 2nd or 3rd best pitcher in his league. Shouldn't there be like a pitcher emeritus award, like that you just get the Cy Young at some point? And I think, unfortunately, the answer is once again no.
Yeah. Yep, and it's tough. It's gonna be you're everything. Jay, I agree with everything he's just said.
But I don't. But there's also, and maybe it's not for right now, but it's basically unprecedented in baseball history to be the best pitcher or have any sort of argument as that over that long of a run and walk away with 0 items of hardware for it. Like I've looked at people who led baseball in wins above. It was 6 seasons at the time when I did it earlier in this year. But I looked at people who led baseball in wins above replacement over a 6-season stretch. Every single one of those people got a piece of hardware, if not multiple, during that run. It's a bad luck thing. Some years it's a lack of appreciation for what he did, particularly early on in his breakout. But it's difficult to craft a really, really compelling argument for him against Chris Sale this season, unfortunately for him.
Holy shit.
What?
Oh,
you all right?
I was not. I'm a lot better now. Window cleaners just came down right next to me, and I saw the shadow coming. That was very scary, but they're here now, so I'm safe. I gotta go, but I do. Jayhay, I wanted to let you know. Over the weekend, you and I jumped in a windowless van, put on some ski masks. We drove up to the front porch of Steve Stone's house, and we took his 1980 Cy Young Award.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I do remember that.
I wanted to inform you. I know it was a crazy night. There was a lot.
Yeah, that was oof.
There was a lot involved, but yeah, I did not say that to Steve Stone's face. I want to confirm that as well. I would not do that. I love Stoney, but that was a conversation we had. So shout out Mike Norris, your new 1980 AL.
I was going to say, which A are we giving it to? Yeah, I had to look it up. Yeah.
Well, you made the argument. I was like, fine, fuck it, I'll drive. I know where Stoney lives.
Yeah, Mike Norris. Yep.
That's right. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. See you later. Good luck today.
Bye, Dallas.
I'm gone.
Finally. Now we can have a real baseball discussion.
Yeah, with some people who got some real experience in the game.
Yeah, just the Jays again.
God damn.
You know how we do. Stuff. Yeah, this is what people came to see. By the way, the BetterHelp promo, it's betterhelp.com/baseball. So I'm going to have Jake dub that in over my voice. It's just going to be Jake saying baseball when you get to that read. Well, you've already heard it at this point. Is there a little bit of panic going on in Baltimore? Not panic, but a little bit of recognition that things are not going as planned.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
It sure does. An acknowledgement of they've acknowledged the funk. They've acknowledged the funk.
I believe he said the mojo has drifted away.
What is it? The 70s? We're talking about mojo and funk.
Yeah, it's a poetic way to describe it for sure. It does feel rather apt though as a description as to how this is played out for this team, because it doesn't feel like it was one catastrophic moment in time that changed something. It doesn't feel like all hope is lost necessarily, but it does feel like what looked like an ascendant team that had too much talent, too many talented players to play at the positions that they had. That's a tough kind of narrative to live up to, where you have so many young players that are exploding onto the scene, and you know, if something less than 50% of them hit immediately, it's perceived as a massive disappointment. But future's still bright, but it does seem like the shine has come off just a tad.
You know what the analogy I had was, Jayhay?
What's that?
It's like a parent talking to their child that they've sent to a very expensive university, and this child is getting D's, and you're like, you were getting A's in the first semester, and now all of a sudden you're getting D's. You do know I'm spending a lot of money on your tuition, right? Like, if you're hearing it from the general manager, you know that's like, you know, we fucking traded for Corbin Burns for this season, right? Like, you know, we've invested in like this. Like, I understand we have a window here, but I don't know that Corbin Burns is going to be here next year. So like, we've invested in right now. Like, I understand, like, you guys had the best record in the league in the first half of the season. You guys have shit the bed recently. I get there's been injuries to Mountcastle and Means and Westberg and Bradish.
I'm sympathetic to the injuries on the rotation for sure. Like those are indisputably devastating. That and Joey's brought up the Grayson Rodriguez thing consistently. Like that's obviously very devastating.
They still think he could be back before October though.
That's fine, but like it's now lingering long enough where it's the question that we've had with lots of these guys. What is the ramp up? What does he look like? How fresh can he possibly be before the postseason? Are we putting him in important spots? The whole idea of Grayson Rodriguez and Corbin Burns was that they would be the ones who pitched the important starts. Like we're now getting to a point where it's like, is Dean Kramer going to make a key postseason start again for the Orioles or someone of that ilk? And that's not a disrespect to Dean Kramer. He is what he is, but that's why those guys were viewed in the way that they were, because they were pushing everybody else down. I mean, but the offensive stuff, like to me, those names are like, those are the injuries that everybody deals with. Like I'm like Jordan Westberg and Ryan Mountcastle. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, I'm hurt for those people individually, but like what baseball team gets through a season without injuries to people of the Westberg, Mountcastle, Ramon Urias variety? You know what I mean? Like that specifically is something that we were told this team was equipped to weather. Like if Jordan Westberg goes down, the immediate reaction I remember from at least some portion of that fan base was, no problem. Here comes X guy, Jackson Holiday. Here we go. Like and that really just hasn't proven to be the case. And I'm not burying any of their young players. You've seen flashes from Kauser. You've seen flashes from like Kerstad. Like they're not over and done with, but it felt like they should have been able to weather some of the offensive injuries a little bit better. But the other part of this is that forget the young-ish guys. What established offensive player has performed better in the second half of the season than they performed in the first half? Almost none of them. Santander, I know, got to 40 homers, but like his best work was done in June and July, and he has been kind of in August and September. And we talked about how devastatingly bad Adley Rutschman has been a couple of podcasts ago. And while Gunnar Henderson is going to get MVP votes, and it's almost like there's almost a sense that like maybe this is a little unfair. Do you feel like Gunnar Henderson is contributing like almost one of the least talked about or most underwhelming, in a sense, like 7-8 win seasons in recent baseball history? Like it almost feels that way because like a decent chunk of his best work, quote unquote, was done early on in the season. And I know he's been hot in September, but like July and August were a really difficult period for him. And that was kind of the meat of the Orioles downturn. So it's been a lot of different things, but it does feel like the offense was supposed to be able to weather this storm.
And I mean, really, no one besides Gunnar, like, and we're going back to August 1st here. Since August 1st, Gunner's hit 265 with an 827 OPS. You take that 827 OPS. Urias, who's hurt, 858 OPS, but it's in 27 games, 83 plate appearances versus 186 for Gunnar. Cedric, 243 with a 792 OPS. Santander, despite all the home runs, hitting 215 with a 745 OPS. Kauser, 234, 704 OPS. Adley, 220 with a 612 OPS. They traded for Eloy, 234 with a 592 OPS. Jackson Holiday, 195 with a 588 OPS. Like they're like, it's basically Gunnar is treading water. Like for what we expect from Gunnar, an 827 OPS is like, all right, okay. Like he's hanging in there. And he's the best offensive performer on the team since August.
Yeah, it's just it's underwhelming in a lot of different ways. Obviously, there's the Craig Kimbrell element too, where you've gone from basically through a decent chunk of last season, you had maybe the most lights out back of the bullpen in all of Major League Baseball between Bautista and Cano. And now this season, at least the very back of the bullpen is a huge flaming concern. Kimbrel's got an 11.5 ERA over his last 19 appearances, which is basically since mid-July. That's obviously not going to do it. And I just, it's a tough way to talk about a team that is 84-67 and on pace to win 90 something games this season. But that's going to be a drop of 10-ish games, 8-10 games off of what they won last year. And while maybe they were always going to win fewer games, I think the expectation is that they would be a better team. And not only are they not going to win the division most likely, but they have been qualitatively, I think, a more disappointing team if you take them at what they've contributed over the last couple of months, which I think, like, the Corbin Burnes element to this is, if I know we will do this when we get closer to the postseason, but when we do something like highlight the X factor for one team or whatever it is, I think Corbin Burnes is as fascinating of an individual player within the team context as exists for all the teams that will play in the postseason, both for how absolutely essential his performance would be to any sustained Orioles run, how weirdly bad his performance has been since basically the beginning of August on the whole, the deterioration of his strikeout rate over a 3 to 4 season span. And while that didn't seem to be important early, certainly seems to be relevant now. And then the fact that, as you said, they had him for one season and he is entering, for his personal benefit, free agency entering the year. What type of contract is he looking at if he scuffles through the end of the season? I just don't think, I just think it's fascinating. And it's to have your manager come out and say, I still hope that we've got some good baseball in us. It's a talented group. And to have your GM say that the mojo has drifted away. That's not like inappropriate by any means. It's just not a great sign about what the vibes are.
Well, the direct quote that was concerning to me, and I think has a lot of validity, I'm going to try and pull it up. It was basically saying, like, everyone is like expecting shit to hit the fan, you know, like, the mojo that we've had has just drifted away from us the last few months. There are reasons for it that are obvious, but a lot of it is that we've got a lot of people here that are experiencing a downturn, whether it's themselves or the team. So, I mean, I think if you're looking at it that way, that's kind of like the mark of a young team. A lot of people are pressing to make up for other people's absences or their own slumps. It's been a difficult period. We're all sick of it and ready to get it behind us. I really believe that we're going to rally down the stretch, kind of get our identity back. And then Brandon Hyde said, I want to believe we still have good baseball to play. We've shown signs of putting things together, but it hasn't quite happened in the second half. There's still time to make it happen. It's a really talented group. We're pitching well. We get some guys going offensively. It could be a dangerous team down the stretch. Well, what are we talking about down the stretch? Like, we're a week and a half is left in the season. Like, this is the stretch. So it's not like, hey, if we really get it going down the stretch, like, we're in it right now. There's like 3 series left for most teams.
Yeah. The urgency is now. And I don't know. I think it's a tough emotional swing, I would imagine, as a baseball player or the manager of that team to enter the season like you're in a position of power and spend a decent chunk of the season in more or less a position of power and have that fritter away to a point where, you know, they're likely going to lose the division to kind of the same old team and will be in an uphill battle to achieve what I think was the franchise's goal and the fan base's goal, which is a deep, sustained postseason run, if not just an outright trip to the World Series. So, and honestly, it's hard to look at this team right now and feel super confident about that sort of sustained run for all the reasons that if we're identifying issues at the very top of the rotation and we're identifying issues at the very back of the bullpen, and we're identifying issues up and down the lineup for lots and lots of different reasons, that seems to me like not a team that you would get behind entering the postseason. And I don't really understand what can, like, short of Grayson Rodriguez coming back and looking awesome and Corbin Burns completely righting the ship, I don't really know what they can do for me. Not that they care, but like that they can do for me to be viewed as a real true blue postseason threat. Like, I know Burns has pitched better of late in September, but like, it's still 14 strikeouts in 18 innings pitched. Like, what version of Corbin Burns is that exactly? And if that's the bounce back, like, I guess it's something certainly to build off of. It's a 1.5 ERA in September, but like, to me, the lack of swing and miss or the deterioration there is as alarming or more alarming than the fact that he pitched badly in August specifically.
It is very concerning to be talking about a team with a 99% chance of making the postseason being like, well, no one's fucking hitting. They've got 3 starters that are injured and their bullpen is a disaster. Also because of injuries and throwing $13 million at Craig Kimbrell, who has just absolutely shit the bed over the last 2 months.
All right. I mean, you obviously reserve, and as I do too, you reserve the right to change your opinion in a couple of weeks when we do picks. You taking the Orioles head to head in a series against the Yankees in the postseason?
I think those two teams are flawed in the same areas, but the Orioles' flaws are much more glaring, and the Yankees are playing better baseball through those flaws than the Orioles are. So,
are you taking the Orioles head to head against the Stros?
No.
Are you taking them against the Royals?
Probably not, because I like the Royals pitching.
You taking them against the Guards?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So I think that, but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
They're being lumped in or would be favored, quote unquote, against a team that I would guess almost nobody views as a true blue World Series contender. I don't think many people are.
Did you disagree with any of my matchup predictions?
No, I would take all of the first 3 teams, which is why I asked them in that order, against the Orioles right now as things stand, and I would have to think about a Guardians situation.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I think they're a toss up against the Twins. I think the Tigers would get the short end against in any, but again, the Tigers have Skubal, right?
Right.
And that's obviously one starting pitcher does not make an entire series, but they would at least have the games that he pitches where they would have the better starting pitcher on the mound in basically any head-to-head matchup in the AL.
That's why I would be a little bit tempted to at least entertain the idea of picking the Tigers in that series.
Okay, so that's crazy. If we took how we felt and talked about these teams in March and April and like fast forwarded to right now, and we're showing this to us and Orioles fans, and it's like, shit, man, the Tigers or the Orioles?
Well, I think I would take the Orioles in a best of 7 in a short series. I would
but
entertain.
We're even having I'm not even holding you to this, but they were even having the conversation.
Also,
in
spring training, we would not have known that Skubal was going to be what he's become either.
No, of course not. But like that. Oh, yes, that is one of a few things that have gone right for the Tigers. Not an enormous number of things have gone right for them. It's not like an all breaks season for the Tigers, but like it's really more to me about that the Orioles, the allure, the sense of them has fallen back to a grouping of teams that we would not have pegged as World Series participants or contenders entering the season, and that's where we viewed the Orioles.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like, do you believe in look good, play good, Jayhay?
Yeah, I mean, I try to come to the podcast every day with that mentality.
Right. Maybe the Orioles just need to look better to play better.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the whole thing is like, do you want your grooming routine to be a one and done deal? Well, the days of using the same trimmer for your face and your private parts are over, thanks to our friends at Manscaped. They've come up with the ultimate package to keep your hairs trimmed from 12 to 6, introducing the Beard and Balls bundle featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger, a trimmer for the moneymaker and another for the boys downstairs. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code BID at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code BID at manscaped.com for the premium grooming experience. You have to trust Manscaped. Next, we can talk about the Beard Hedger, whether you're going for a neat and stubble or full-on lumberjack look. The trimmer has you covered. And trust me, they've sent me the Beard Hedger. I use it for, I get out of the shower, I blow dry my beard a little bit, and then I'll use it to like clip the little strays. That's like a barber trick. I picked that up when I was living in Manhattan, where you get your, your beard trimmed or whatever. And it's like, they've got like the little hairs popping out. I never used to pay attention to that, but then you just kind of like every day, just like a fresh beard, barber fresh look. Just like the lawnmower, the Beard Hedger is also waterproof, so you can handle your beard grooming right in the sink or the shower without worrying about water damage. With up to 60 minutes of runtime and an LED charge indicator, you'll never be caught mid-trim with a dead battery. Love that. Also, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra ensures that you're always looking your best below the waist, while the Beard Hedger takes care of everything else above. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code BID at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code BID at manscaped.com. No more juggling multiple tools or dealing with subpar results, just efficient, effective grooming wherever you need it. Shout out to Manscaped. Thank you, guys.
Probably going to go ahead and use my Manscaped tools to rock that mustache that we talked about. Remember?
Yes.
So that's probably like a postseason streams thing, right? Just
that beard came back faster than I expected, Jayhay. I'll be honest.
Yep. Yeah. Let's do a close up here.
Yeah, I feel like you're back.
Oh yeah. We're getting there. It's a little light on the sides right now, but you got that nice multicolor here at the bottom. That gray speckle that lets you know that I'm like kind of a wise vet. Like a sage of the game.
Yeah. Actually, you know what, Jayhay? You said you were going to rock the Baines meter shirt today, and we got the BID hoodie. What's up with that?
So it's a little chillier here on the East Coast than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And my attic hasn't heated up, which it does over the course of the day. So I'm going to do this. I thought I'd start with the pod first. Always put the pod first. That's one of my life logos.
Sure.
Maybe I'll get that tattooed across my shoulder blades. Always put the pod first.
Always put the pod first. I want to get. Would you get a BID? Do you have any tattoos? No.
I have 0 tattoos.
0 tattoos. I kind of want to get the BID logo tattooed.
Yeah. I here's what I'll tell you. We signed that second contract. I'm in.
All right. That's fair.
I'm in for a BID logo.
All right, underdog. You hear that?
Yeah, you hear that?
Yeah.
Not that I'm concerned about any future contract negotiations, but if I'm going to slap the logo on my skin for the rest of my life, maybe a few extra years, right?
Yeah. Let's Jake, book Underdog. We want to talk extension.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. If we can book someone at Underdog to talk extension, let's have the conversation on the pod. And I'm looking for a 10-year deal. I'm looking to be here till I die, and then that way we can get Baseball's Dead tattoos together.
Also a good opportunity to sign up with the promo code Jared.
It's a fucking great time to do that.
Yep. To get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's promo code Jared, and that's Underdog. Maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe we'll go mustache. I don't know if the people want it. I'll do it.
I think the people want it. Yeah.
If we've forgotten about that, then that's fine. We can move on. Not trying to look silly if I don't have to. So, maybe I'll look great. Who knows? Maybe it'll be my future look, but I've shown that look, when you probably don't do this, but when I do a shave where I grow it all back and then I shave it off and then I grow it all back, maybe I should get out of that habit. But sometimes when I'm doing that, I'll show my spouse, the mid shave look where I've got some sort of creepy combination going on. Mm-hmm. It's always funny.
See, I would love to do that.
That's the kind of marital back and forth you get here at in West Hartford.
Yeah. I haven't shaved my face in 15 years, 14 years.
Yeah, you're very well manicured, which is why you're a great spokesman for Manscaped.
Yeah. Manscaped helps me stay looking fresh though.
Yeah. I'm typically a little bit more grizzled, but Manscaped is helping me get that under control.
Yeah, there you go.
Bane's meter shirt tomorrow, by the way.
Oh.
Is to wrap that up. I'm going to wear it tomorrow
on Thursday
for Family Feud. Yep.
Family Feud's going to be great this week. Actually, I saw there was a BID listener. I can't remember. We talked to a lot of people that listen to the show. We're very accessible people. But there was a listener that said that he bonds with his son over Family Feud. Like he'll pick up his son from school on Thursday, and then he'll be like, "Is Family Feud out yet? Like, did you watch it?" So he'll go back and watch the Family Feud episode awesome. with his son. Yeah, Family Feud's hitting in the streets.
That's pretty cool, man. I wouldn't have guessed that even one father and son were bonding over our Family Feud time. So that one is, and maybe even more, is just about the coolest thing I'll hear all day.
Yeah. Yeah. We're bringing families together, Jayhay.
Yeah. That's magical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No sarcasm.
No, I love that.
Sometimes I feel like I have to clarify that with my voice.
with how I sound naturally.
Yeah.
Ian Happ hit a home run off of Mason Miller. That was the fastest pitch per StatCast hit for a home run at 103.2.
Yeah, that was cool, right? Or not?
No.
Did it? No. Oh,
it didn't do it for me, and I'll tell you why, Jay.
Okay. All right.
2 reasons. The exit velocity was lower than the home run itself, or the pitch itself. Excuse me. I think it was like 100 mile an hour exit velocity. It barely got out, 2. And 3, it was an oppo shot. I don't like opposite field home runs. I like pull side homers. And if you're gonna hit a home run on the fastest pitch ever recorded by StatCast, I want the exit velo to be like 120. It's like, yeah, you threw it to me 103, but guess what? Yeah. I hit it at $118. Like he hit it at 100. Like that's.
I think the last time we talked about this sort of thing, about like the pitch being hit quickly or whatever, Dallas brought up that, like, you know, it is a thing that players talk about. I'm willing to concede that it's just going to be a cooler thing to see in person. That if I was like behind the backstop or had really good seats and I saw a guy turn around a 103, that's just going to be cooler than what it looks like on TV, particularly with all the variables that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But now what you struck me, or what you said struck me, is that you don't like opposite field home runs. And now I understand why I felt a little underwhelmed at Ramos's splashdown in McCovey Cove, because it was like, I get that it requires almost a superhuman level of strength, or bat speed, or launch, the combination of all that stuff to get into McCovey Cove as a right-handed batter. I just want to see pulled home runs, though.
Yeah. Yes.
Or maybe majestic shots dead center that have some really nice lift to them or something like that. Like it's not universal. It's not that an opposite field home run can't be beautiful. Manny Ramirez certainly made plenty of opposite field home runs look beautiful. But like to me, it's especially like the Ramos one. Like think of the angle that it needs to take to be a splashdown in McCovey Cove. It's not like it's center right. You know what I mean? It was basically closer to down the line, it felt like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm with you on that. It's all subjective. But yeah, the Happ thing was more a statistical notable than I think a visual thing for me.
I thought I was the only guy that, like, I don't know what it's not even like it's a trend or whatever, but there are definitely fans that watch baseball and they see and they're like, an oppo taco. I'm like, it like an opposite field home run to me is not aesthetically pleasing. Like there's just something like you could hit a 420 foot home run to right field as a right-handed batter, and that's not going to hit me the same way as a 420 foot home run to the pull side or to dead center. Like dead center tanks, that I like home runs to center, but not as much as a pull side homer.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
It just looks better. The swing looks better. Like a right-handed batter that pulls a home run to left field, they will always look like they got it. The only guy that I can recall that would hit opposite field home runs, a right-handed batter that would hit home runs to right field and still be able to pimp it and look cool, was Manny Ramirez.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only
like he could flick him to right field and be like, got that one. But everyone else, it mostly looks like a mistake. It's like, oh, I hit it, but I'm like, I was late on that one. Oh shit, it's over the wall, home run, woo! Like,
yeah, like, and I know that like Miggy and Pujols in their prime were obviously doing a lot of opposite field work too. But like, I don't, in my head, I'm not thinking Miggy's popping opposite field home runs. It's Miggy's flicking doubles and stuff like that, and Manny's the opposite. I don't know. Maybe that's fair. Maybe that's not. But like, yeah, no, I mean, there's a reason why. I think the lefty pull visual is so appealing, and why it has produced, most of the iconic home run swings, or visuals in baseball history. You don't hear about. Like, when I watch Griffey home runs from back in the day,
they're all pull side.
Yeah, I don't like watching Griffey hit opposite field home runs either. This isn't like, I don't think it's a righty lefty thing. I don't like when his home runs include oppo shots. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Impressive for what it is. But like, I want to see Griffey pull the ball.
There's only one lefty off the top of my head I can think of that I can picture it be aesthetically pleasing when they hit opposite field home runs. Do you know who I'm thinking of? It's our lifetime.
Josh Hamilton.
No, but that's a great guess. Okay.
Well, that was my guess. Who is it?
Very, very similar swing though. Like very similar. Like when I picture Josh Hamilton's opposite field home run swing, it's very similar to this individual's opposite field home run swing.
I don't know. Who is it?
Ryan Howard.
Oh. Yeah. I was always kind of on the hater side of Ryan Howard. I don't know. I mean, I guess they were impressive because he was such a physically imposing presence. And the bank, I think afforded him some home runs that maybe otherwise wouldn't have been so in that direction. But yeah, I guess. I mean, my favorite in terms of lefty, I loved the way Jim Thome hit home runs. And like some of those, like if we're talking impressive opposite field shots, like that's a guy who could get into one from the left side, hit it opposite field, and you were like, yeah, well, that's fucking gone for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, even Manny's best home runs though, or at least the ones that stick out in my head, are largely pulled home runs. Like, him popping and.
I was there. Game 2 of the division series in 2007.
That ball wasn't hit to the opposite field, was it?
No, it sure wasn't.
No, okay. So there you go.
When David Ortiz had a yard sale at his house.
Yeah.
I went there and I probably got the most prized possession in the entire home. And that was a DVD that had all of his home runs on it. And I would pay, I don't know, $500 to $1,000 for that footage of Manny Ramirez. Just a loop of every home run of his entire career, or just like the good ones. Like I would put a TV in my hallway and just have that running on a loop all day. Just wake up to like same thing. Like people wake up, they put fucking food in the dog bowl. Like, no, I would wake up, turn on the Manny TV and just have that running all day. Like, yeah, anytime you walk by, you just be like, oh yeah, that one was sick. You never see the same home run.
You should do that. Feels like something, now that it's out in the ether, maybe somebody will come through for you.
Yeah. Someone that listens to this podcast has to work at Major League Baseball with access to all of the footage. Be like, yeah, no, I can put that on a file for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not encouraging anybody to do espionage or corporate, corporate malfeasance, but Yeah, I mean, if you ended up in possession of all of his home runs on a DVD, I think that would be really special.
Yeah, I agree.
Or a thumb drive, maybe. DVDs, do they still work?
I don't think so.
Not
Yeah.
not in many places.
I think what I would need to do is get the file, make like a private YouTube account so that I don't get flagged. Upload it to YouTube and then have that
Just
YouTube
run
video
it.
run all
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
That
All
would
right.
make a lot of sense.
Well, hopefully that project's up and running by the time we pod tomorrow.
Someone's going to reach out. I hope someone reaches out. For all I do for you guys, I'm asking for one favor. It's download the Underdog Fantasy app, promo code Jared, and give me that Manny Ramirez footage.
Yeah, those two things. It would be nice if when I came up for the streams in a couple of weeks that was all taken care of.
Yeah. We could have one of the TVs playing it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying just the footage is taken care of. I mean, ultimately that doesn't do me anything. But if it's playing, like if we have the footage and you've, got it up and running, I think that could be really special.
Does YouTube have like a repeat function? Like Spotify? Like you can put a song on repeat?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Jake, do you know?
I feel like they must. I don't know for sure, but feels like something they would have.
Yeah, I mean,
if not,
I've got YouTube Premium.
I mean, if not, let's book YouTube.
Yeah, we got to book YouTube. What's the longest video you can upload? I mean, like Section 10 episodes are 3.5 hours. So, like, what's the longest video you can put on YouTube?
I don't know. I've never really tried to test that.
Jake?
I see people upload like 10-hour videos and put them on loop. So I don't know if you might have to edit the loop yourself, but I feel like the longest I've seen is 10 hours.
Okay, so then I think what we do is we get the file footage of Manny Ramirez's home runs. Let's say, I mean, how many they hit like 550 home runs. So let's say each clip is what, 45 seconds? 45 times, call it 550.
So you want like replays and shit on everyone?
I want to see the whole trip around the bases. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, or we could edit it down. I don't know. But I'm just saying, let's say it's 4 hours. The footage is 4 hours. Then we would just copy it and then paste it. So then now we have an 8-hour video. We don't have to hit repeat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we could do that.
I say we do it.
All right. We're going to do it. You know what else we're going to do? We're going to download the Game Time app because the playoffs are coming soon. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets faster and easier for live events. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Post Malone is at Fenway tonight, Jake. Are you going?
Don't think I'm going. Still haven't been to a concert at Fenway, so got to get there soon, but not tonight.
Crazy. That's crazy. I kind of want to go, but I don't know. Maybe I will. I'll download the Game Time app. I'm going to use the promo code BID. Maybe get some Post Malone at Fenway tickets tonight. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. All in pricing. You toggle that feature and it shows you the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before that you buy your tickets. The lowest price guarantee, your Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry today. Take the guesswork out in buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it?
Game time.
It's game time. It is game time. I feel like it's also some nug time right now, Jayhay.
Well, your instincts prove strong as always.
Wow.
Yep. I dropped this earlier in partial, but I do want to, really hammer it home so that he doesn't end up making the Hall of Fame. Craig Kimbrell had a 2.10 ERA and a 483 OPS allowed through the games of July 7th. Since then, he has an 11.50 ERA, and opponents have posted an OPS of 1.006. So good luck to the Orioles at the back end of their bullpen. Blake Snell feels appropriate. It may end up only being one season as a Giant, but he will join the pantheon of Giants pitchers because he threw up a 12 strikeout, 0 run, 1 hit performance last night, joining Madison Bumgarner, Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain, Jason Schmidt, and Juan Marichal as the only pitchers in Giants franchise history to produce such a start. Lawrence Butler and Brent Rooker have been on concurrent tears as teammates. They are the first pair of teammates to have 63 game stretches featuring a 300 batting average, a 1,000 OPS, 19 or more homers, and 8 or more stolen bases in the same season since Francisco Lindor and Joe Ram did so in 2018. 3 rapid fire hot streaks to note, 2 Mariners on the list. We talked about him briefly. Julio Rodriguez, 364 with a 1.024 OPS over his last 18 games. That 18-game stretch has raised his season OPS by 55 points. Victor Robles finding new life in Seattle, 444 batting average and a 1.115 OPS with 12 stolen bases over his last 22 games. And Wyatt Langford, a lot of people thought he would be the rookie of the year, immediate breakout. Maybe the breakout is happening right now. 345 batting average, 1.097 OPS over his last 15 games. That 15-game stretch has raised his season-long OPS by 49 points. And as just a reminder, final nug, I would be sure to sign up with the promo code Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's Underdog, promo code Jared. Just wrapped up Nugs. You missed them all, man. You're going to have to come back and...
I always rewatch the show.
Yeah, you're going to have to rewatch. I had some particular flair this time, so it'd be good to watch it visually, get those YouTube views up. But that's what I got. Can I reread one to you to get your reaction?
Yeah, please.
So Brent Rooker and Lawrence Butler. They're the first pair of teammates to have a 63-game stretch in the same season that featured a 300 batting average, a 1,000 OPS, 19 home runs, and 8 or more stolen bases each since Lindor and Joe Ram in 2018. The only
I don't know why. Did A-Rod and Michael Young, did they play together in Texas? No.
I thought when A-Rod came, what was the deal with Michael Young? Didn't he have to move positions?
He moved positions for Elvis.
Oh, was it Elvis? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he and A-Rod were on the team at the same time.
Yep. Oh, they were, yeah. Yeah, maybe I was guessing that 2003 season, but Michael Young didn't have the pop yet.
No. But anyway, yeah, the number of people. So Victor Robles, just riffing here for a second. Victor Robles has 32 hits and 12 stolen bases over his last 22 games, which was a nug that I dropped. The number of people who have done that in the wild card era is not all that long. And since the start of last season, the only people who have done it are Acuna, Ellie De La Cruz, and Xavier Edwards.
You know what just occurred to me? We're now going to have to start clarifying which Acuna.
Yes, Ronald.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to just say Acuna anymore.
You know, that's a change I think I can wrap my head around that.
Sure.
It'll just be Ron and
Big
Ron and Lou, right?
Could be. That's going to bother me that we're going to have to clarify, but it is what it is. Jake's takes?
Baseball. Going to use that as
we got a lot of baseball.
Yeah, going to use that as the soundbite to dub over your Better Help ad.
There you go.
That was really good. You nailed that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right. Family Feud tomorrow. Very excited for that. Tough to follow up the Braden versus Braden matchup, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed that, but a lot of people bond over old-fashioned you and Dallas.
They sure do. They sure do. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. It's Thursday, Family Feud. Very excited for that. And whatever else goes down tonight, we'll have all the news, all the updates, and all the reactions that you come to expect from the Baseball's Dead Boys on this Thursday. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Promo code Jared on the Underdog Fantasy app. Baseballisdeadmerch.com. You know, you can get that hoodie that Jayhay's wearing right there. I have one myself. Ooh, look at the back. Yeah, that's nice.
That's sharp. I'm going to peacock around town today. Just going to go walk around the streets. I'm going to be
deserve it. You deserve it. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.